Hi, my name is Alessandro Cangelosi and that's a new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for MaxCookie. This time I'd like to see how the Arcan Design material works and how it will be used in Mentorate to obtain different material setup. So I prepared a really simple scene. You see we have a plane, something that can be a floor. We have 3 teapots to test the shaders, and we have uh, some photometric lighting with area shadows activated. And if we try to render the scene, you see that we have something like that. So a scene not so complex. Okay, let's wait for the okay, and it can be really useful to understand how we can set up the various shader. So let's move just a little bit this one there and this one there, so we have the right spaces to make the steps. So let's start talking about the various shaders, and to do that we'll prepare a really simple shader for the floor. So let's call it floor. We can assign it and we pick an Arcan Design. Okay, and let's start using for this to mesh a really simple polysheet concrete. And let's remove the reflectivity so it's really fast. And let's see just the map if it's okay or not. Okay, and let's prepare a simple shader for the table. Let's call it table. Oh, sorry, table. Okay, and let's use again an Arcan Design, and we'll use again a preset just to have a really simple way to use the scene. Okay, let's see if the map is okay or not. Okay, let's try with this. We can save our scene. So let's go in the right folder, and we have tutorials, arch to number 2, 3ds Max, tut mar 2. Okay, we have it. So let's go in the rendering parameters, and we can change something just a little bit. Let's go for 1-on-1 to be faster, and we can go with this value. So render to just to have the basic scene setup. So that's our basic scene setup actually. Okay, let's wait for the other stuff. Okay, and I'd like to have more brightness over the floor, so the wall, sorry. So we can go there, output, let's go for 1. So now we have more brightness. Okay, let's use for the moment the same shader, and let's call it test shader. Okay, and let's start to use the Arcan Design, and we'll use no preset. So we start to work just on the simple shader, and we can select, for example, this area, so we can work just there to be faster. And let's render it. So we see the basic shader setup, which kind of result give us. Okay, I'd like just to add just a little bit more skylight. So let's select the sky at 0.1, and we can use, for example, let's try 1, and let's see if it's too much or not, just to be sure that it's more clear. Okay, so we can see better the shaders. You see that with the basic value we have a gray material, and we have also the reflection. So we can start talking about the reflection. So let's remove the reflection using the reflectivity parameters. So we'll have a really basic gray shader. Okay, so you see it's just gray, nothing so much, just a really simple shader. So we can understand that we can change the color using the color value. For example, if I like to make it something near a blue color, I can change the color swatch, and then the result will be something blue. So you see, oh, cyan. It's really simple, and if we like, we can use the swatches there, the selector, to have a bitmap to use as diffuse texture, and then we have the possibility to change the diffuse level. And you see, for example, that I can change the diffuse layer level, and you'll see that we'll have less diffuse, so the material will be darker. We'll have less diffusion for the color over the surface, so you see we have full control over the diffusion parameter and value over the surface. We have also the possibility to use a roughness, and you see that we are changing the way the light will work on the shader. So we can make a copy, and let's see, the first one will have roughness 0, and let's move just a little bit there the render area, and we can scale it in this way. Okay, let's close, and let's go there, and the second teapot, this one, we'll have the other shader, another test shader, and we'll have the roughness set to 1, the maximum. So let's see how the roughness of the surface will be simulated by the shader. It's not so simple to see how it looks in a different way using this value, but for example, we can use a checker, and let's see the map, and we'll try to have it really little so we can see how the light will interact over the mesh, and I hope it will be visible there over the surface of the teapot. Let's see, and you see that we have different lighting condition over the surface just because we are using the black and white checker map, trying to have some roughness with a basic value, the 0, and the maximum value using the white color. So that's, for example, something we can do. Let's remove this map just using the copy with another free slot. Then we have the reflection for the material, and you can see that. Let's change to see everything, and let's assign another copy, and we can call it that's shaders 3, and the first one will be 0 for the reflection, the second one will be 0.5 just to see the differences, and the third one will be 1, so we have complete reflectivity. Okay, and let's make a test render, and we'll see the differences. Let's wait for the rendering, and you see that we have no reflection there, some reflection over there, and more reflection over the third one. So obviously we have also more specularity over the mesh. The reflection is done using various parameters, and we have, for example, the color. So we can, it's useful, for example, there trying to simulate some metallic surface using the gray color. So let's copy this one, and we'll use the same there as a path, and same there as a path. Okay. It's really interesting trying to figure how we can use the color to change the reflection or the surface. Obviously, actually, we have not a complete 100% reflection because we are using the Fresnel reflection simulated by the BRDF curve, and we'll see later how to use it. Let's see what happened, for example, on the second one, or maybe there, just to see the differences. We can pick just this area, and we can change the color. Sorry, on the third one, the color, and let's try to use, for example, the blue, and you see that the reflection there has a blue color, and also the specularity is blue. Now let's try to render, and you see that we have a blue coloring over all the reflected stuffs. So we are not changing the diffuse color, but we are changing just the reflected color. Let's go back to the white. Obviously, you can use a map to control the coloring for the reflection. Let's see what happens if we have, for example, a glossiness. But to do that, I like to go just a little bit over the control over the BRDF curve. So let's go there in the BRDF, and you see that we have the possibility to add a Fresnel typical Fresnel reflection using the IOR value, or we have the possibility to control manually the reflection. You see that we have the 0 degree there and the 90 degree there, so we have that at 90 degree between the rays and the surface. We have the camera and the surface. We have the 1.0, so the maximum reflection. And when the angle is 0 between, or near 0 between the camera and the mesh, we have 0.2. Obviously, if we change it, you see that we have something like a complete reflective surface, and you'll see that we have something like a metallic surface, and we have the possibility also to change it again. So you see we have complete control over the surface, and we have the possibility to decide also that we have no reflection at 90 degree and maximum reflection at the 0 degree. So we have an inverted curve for the reflection, and we'll try to see it. So we have less reflection over there and more reflection through the center. Let's try to change this curve. Just to see more the effects, something like that. Let's see if it's more visible, the changes through the reflection. And you'll see that we have less reflection over there, over the edges, and more reflection there. Let's go back to the standard configuration. So we have something like that, and something like that, and we have more reflection there. And you see that we have the possibility to change the curve, so we can control in a better way the fall off for the reflection or the surface. And you see there that, for example, we have more reflectivity, so you have complete control on how it works, and you see it's changing also there. So it's really interesting. Let's try to go through a complete reflective surface as the previous one, but I'd like to render the entire mesh there. So let's render. Let's wait for the rendering test. Okay, so that's our mesh. Let's change again the reflection, sorry, the render region, And we can go back to the reflection control, and you see that we have the glossiness. The glossiness gives us the possibility to change the glossiness of the surface, and we can change the glossiness reflection, so we'll have the possibility to control the how the light interacts with the surface. So you see we are changing the specularity and the glossiness of the surface, and in a physical way we are changing also the reflection blurs. So let's see, for example, 0.8, that it's not so bad, and you'll see that we'll have some changes to the specularity there point, and we'll have some changes to the reflection. Obviously the rendering time will be just a little bit slower. You see that now it's bigger than before, and we can move more to 0.5, for example. And you see that we have more blurring over the reflection, and we can move through, for example, 0.2, so we'll have a really blurred reflection, and it's really useful, for example, over some kind of materials as metals or also other kind of material. An interesting stuff is that you see that now we have a lot of dots there. You can see a really grainy stuffs, and we can control the quality of the glossiness, so the quantity of grainy using the glossy samples. If we try to use, for example, 2, we'll obtain a faster rendering, but we'll have also a really high present grainy over the surface. You see that now it's really visible. So we can let's use, just to be more realistic, I'd like to use an environment map, and we can use a bitmap, or maybe sorry, let's move it there as an instance, and we can change with a bitmap HDR, and we can go inside the normal 3ds Max maps, let's go inside the HDR, and let's see something that we can use. For example, this one is not so important. I will set up this. Okay, and let's go there to spherical environment. Let's save, and let's try to make render. So we'll have the reflection on the depot. Sorry, we have some kind of problem. Let's try again rendering. Okay, now it works. We have just to change just a little bit the map. So let's go there, and I'd like to have it just a little bit less visible, just to have something over the chrome surface. But you see that we have a really grainy effects there. So to change these this kind of effects, we have to go there, and we'll have to use an higher value. Let's see, for example, with 32 samples, the rendering will be obviously slower. We have 8 seconds for the latest rendering, and we'll see how it looks using a really high value. You see that the surface is better than before, and we have 9 seconds for the moment, but we can go forward and use, for example, 64, but you see that we have a really interesting surface, metallic surface there. Okay, so you see that the grain is not more visible, and we have 13 seconds. So nothing so much just for a simple mesh, but obviously if we are trying to use this kind of value over a more complex surface, it will be a really big issue with the rendering. Let's render the entire teapot. Let's wait for the rendering. I'd like to see with you a possibility we have inside the Arc and Design to have a faster rendering for the glossiness, trying to avoid really low rendering speed and obtain a good quality. Okay, so that's our rendering, and let's make a copy, and I move it there, and we can go there, and you see that we have the interpolation, fast interpolate, and it is saying us that we'll interpolate some points to be really fast. Let's try to see. We have 20 seconds for the last rendering. Let's render, and let's see how it looks. Okay, and we have 9 seconds, so you see that it was really faster, and the quality is not so different from the first one. We see some differences, for example, there and there, but we have, you see, the possibility to have a less physically based control over the glossiness, and we can speed up it, and later we'll see how to speed up the calculation with the fast interpolation. Let's go back to the fast interpolate, and let's value there. So let's go, for example, to 0.5 to speed up it, and let's use 16, and we can render it. Now we'll have more chromic effects with less glossy surface. You see that the reflection is more visible than before, and we have the possibility to change and to say that we like to work the reflection just on the highlight and the final gather. So we'll have a different control over the reflection. So you see that the surface is different than before, and this will be really useful trying to simulate some kind of shader as no metallic stuffs and some complex surface, and as the leader or some clothes, something like that. So we'll see maybe some examples later to figure out how we can use it in the real life world. Let's remove the highlights, and we have the metal material. So let's render again a basic test using the default value for the reflection as we done before. Let's wait. Okay, and let's make a copy and save. I'm saving, but obviously you can do a complete new scene without problems. Let's use the metamaterial. The metamaterial will change the specularity behavior on the surface, trying to simulate in a better way a metallic shader. So you'll see that's the result, and that's the previous one. Obviously he changed it, how the surface looks. It depends on the material you are trying to simulate and on the final result you'd like to obtain. But it's interesting to see that we have the possibility to use also this value to control the reflection and the reflectivity over the surface. Let's move forward and let's see how we can use the refraction over a shader in the Arc and Design. So let's go there, and this will be a good point to start talking about classes and shaders like that. So for the moment we can remove the reflectivity, and we can prepare the first one. Let's remove the reflectivity also there, and we have no reflectivity there. Okay, so we'll have no refraction over the first one, and we'll have the refraction over the second one, we'll have something like transparency set to 0.5, and the third one will be transparency set to 1, so the maximum. Let's see how it change the surface. We have the oscillating, and you see that we have a complete visible surface there, a partial visible with a refraction of the environment. You see the distortion because we are seeing inside, and the same there, but we have no more shadows there because we have complete transparency and we have less transparency there. So let's see how it looks. So for example, if we add the reflectivity there just over the side, so let's go there and let's say we have just a little bit less, and we'll have a surface like that there for the first one, and the second one we'll have the reflectivity, so we have some kind of glass, and we'll use the IOR, we'll check it. We have 1.4, and we'll have the same there, and we'll add again the reflection, and we'll use the, let's close this one, let's go inside the BRDF, and we'll use the BRDF using the IOR. Let's render again, and we'll see I will be more near to the glass simulation. Obviously the first one is just a surface with just a little bit of reflection over it, and there we have a semi-transparent surface with some reflection over it. Obviously the area shadows for the transparent surface is really heavy, and you see that now that we have the reflection over the surface, we have also some really interesting shadows for the glass teapot. Let's see how we can control the transparency. We have the possibility to control, and let's go just on the last teapot there. We have the possibility to control the reflection just using a color. So for example, we can go there for a blue, and if we try to render, obviously the refracted light will be in any way blue, so you see that we have a strange blue transparent surface. It's not similar to a blue glass. We'll see later how we can obtain a better looking blue glass, but it can be a way trying to simulate it. Let's remove it, and we have the possibility, let's go with a white. Okay, we have the possibility to control the glossiness also for the refraction, but we'll see later how to work with it. Let's see the IOR. If we use 1, for example, and we'll try to render again, we'll have no distortion, so we have no distortion for the refraction, and you'll see that is something like a ghost effect, because we can see perfectly all the steps we have beyond the teapot. We'll see that if we start to change just a little bit the index of refraction, we'll start to see also the environment distorted by the teapot. Obviously, more distortion will give us a more you see, it's really simple, this one, and you can find the IOR value, for example, also there with you see 1.33 for the water, and ground glass for 1, for example 52, but you can find this value also on the web or any kind of book that talk about chemical properties of the material. And you see that that's a way to simulate a glass. Okay, obviously we can have also more reflection. It's just in a way, but we can change the BRDF curve there, and for example we can go again to the custom, and we can change to something like that, and let's try to figure this way. And if we try, obviously we'll have more reflection over the glass surface. Let's wait, and you'll see that we have more reflection over the glass. And you see also that we have more specularity over the surface. And you see also that the shadows now are more visible because we have also the shadows due to the reflection. And that's another way to simulate some different glass properties. Let's wait. Okay, let's go back to the IOR, so the Fresnel refraction, sorry, and let's see how the glossiness will work also on the refraction. Let's try with 0.5. Let's try to render, and we'll see the glossiness, so the blurred refraction, and it will be really useful, for example, to simulate a frosted glass or a frosted ice shader or something like that. Let's wait. Obviously now it's just a little bit slower than before, and you see that we have the grainy effects, and we can remove it with no problems. We can just use, for example, 64 samples. It works in the same way we talked about the glossiness reflection. Let's render it. And let's wait. And we had 25 seconds before for the rendering, and we'll see how much seconds we'll have this time. You see that it's for sure slower than before, but we are trying to remove completely the grainy inside the glossiness refraction, and the effects is not bad. Okay. Okay. Obviously we have again the fast interpolation. You see we had 1 minute and 6 seconds. Let's make a copy, and we'll see how it looks using the fast interpolation. And later in the next part we'll see also how to control the interpolation parameters to change it or to have a better result or faster result. Let's wait, and we will see how it will be faster than before. And we hope to have something around 200% faster than before. We are not sure, but we can try to have it. Okay, and we'll add 37 seconds, so something around 200%. And you see that the quality is really similar. We have not the possibility to understand that we are using the interpolation on a simple surface as this one. Maybe if we are trying to work on a more complex shader or a more complex surface, we'll see the differences. So it can be used, and you have to understand when you can use or not. Okay, just before we will finish the part one, I'd like to check, trying to figure a chromic shader. So let's go inside the reflection and let's see how it looks. Okay, that's our basic shader, and we'll have the possibility to let's change just a little bit the glossiness to have more glossiness over the surface. So we'll see also changes to the specularity of the mesh. Okay, and we'll change let's make a copy and we'll change the anisotropy effects, you see, to change the shape of the reflection and to control in a better way the metallic look. Let's wait for the rendering, and you see that we have this kind of reflection, and you see that it's scaled over one axis, and you see also the glossiness in a different way, and we can have it more and more visible. And you see also that we can rotate it and we can simulate a lot of surface as metallic shader or glass shader, or for example the CD, the prismatic rendering or something like that. So let's wait for this one, and you see that we have a really different look for the material there, and we have also the possibility to choose which kind of mapping we'll use, if automatic or a map channel for a UVW map given by the user. Let's go there to have the 64. Okay, and you see that we have a different look for the final shader. So for the first part of this kind, this type of tutorial talking about the Arc and the Sign, that's all. And we saw just some main parameters trying to figure out we can create basic shader. We'll have to check all the other value and we'll have to simulate some kind of material in the coming parts. So for this moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for more tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.